everyone. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. I'm Ashley from Mind Body Fit, and this is Yoga 101. This is our slow flow for this month. Just come down onto your back and just begin to get comfortable. You can hug knees to chest, whatever you need to do. Just find yourself settled. If your low back's feeling tight today, you can walk your feet a little bit wider, drop your knees together, and see how that feels. We'll begin to deepen our inhalation, placing one hand to our belly and one to our heart. And as we inhale, noticing our belly rise, noticing our chest rise, filling up our lungs. Exhaling, letting all the air out of the body. Beginning to notice the effects of deep breathing. We'll bring our arms out to a T, separate the knees, rocking from one edge of the foot to the other in windshield wipers. We'll bring our knees to our chest, rocking side to side. And then beginning to draw circles with our knees in one direction. We'll reverse our circles. Keeping the neck and shoulders relaxed, continuing to breathe, probably feeling our core engage here. We'll keep our right knee to our chest, either keeping the left knee bent or sliding the left leg straight. Returning to our deep breathing. Then we'll switch sides, drawing the left knee in. Option to slide the right leg straight. Notice if you feel any differences from one side to the other, just making note. Then releasing, bending both knees. Feet hip distance, shoulder blades down the back. We'll begin to flow through bridge, slowly rising up one vertebrae at a time. Exhaling, slowly lowering down. Just allow your movement to match your deep breathing pace. If you're in no hurry, there are no set reps. I'll let you know when we're moving on to the next pose. Next time your hips find the mat, hug your knees into your chest. Then we'll come to roll like a ball, engaging our core. Tuck your chin, peel your shoulder blades off the mat. Then beginning to rock forward and back. Notice how your core engages to help you control the rocking, the starting and the stopping. Next time we're up, we'll come over to all fours, lining knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, spreading the fingers wide. Let's begin to flow through cat and cow. Exhaling as you round through the mid-back, dropping your head, dropping your tail. Inhaling, lifting the chest, lifting the tail, let the belly hammock towards the mat. And then we'll come to a neutral spine, sink our hips towards our heels to child's pose. Taking several deep breaths here. With each exhale, you may notice yourself sinking a little deeper. You may want to walk your hands out, feel a little more stretch through the shoulders and through the chest. We're going to go ahead and walk our hands over to the right, moving into the side stretch, sinking back into our left hip. Take our next exhale over to the other side. Pausing here, sinking into the right hip, breathing into the right ribs. Walking our hands center, we'll return to all fours, beginning arm circles, inhaling, sweeping the right arm up, exhaling around. We'll reverse the direction of our circles, listening to our body. If one direction is aggravating the shoulder, then just repeat the direction that felt better. Coming over to the left side. We'll reverse our circles. Coming back to all fours, we'll return to child's pose. Relax the arms, let go of any tension in the neck and shoulders. Returning back to all fours, coming to thread the needle flow. So as you inhale, reaching your arm up to the sky, you can let your gaze follow your hand. And next time you're threading underneath, try lowering to your shoulder and ear. If this doesn't feel comfortable, return back to the flow. Breathing into the back ribs. Left hand under the left shoulder, returning to all fours. Left arm inhaling, sweeping up towards the sky. Exhaling, threading the arm under the body. Continuing to move with your breath. And then you can thread the arm under the body, lowering to your shoulder and ear. Take a couple more deep breaths here. And then meet me in kneeling plank. We're going to take our half series, inhaling to cobra, exhaling back to active child's pose. And we'll curl the toes under, lifting the hips up and back to downward facing dog. We can pedal our heels, spread the fingers wide. You don't want the weight just in the heel of your hand. Think of your hands like starfish, and we're suction cupping onto the mat. Relax the neck, the head drops heavy. You can continue to pedal or find stillness, lengthening the heels to the mat, the tailbone to the sky. And then we'll walk our feet towards our hands to forward fold. Inhaling, we'll rise tall to mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. We're going to explore our sun salutations here. Inhaling, sweeping our arms up, and exhaling down. So this is flowing mountain. For the period of sun salutations, you can stay here. Next, we're going to move into a standing half series, which wasn't included in modified sun salutations from last week, but this would be a standing version if you want to avoid getting back down onto the floor and up again. Exhaling, we're going to swan dive to forward fold, let the head drop heavy. And then inhaling, we're going to have our flat back, straight legs. Exhaling, we'll return to forward fold, and then inhaling, rising back tall to mountains. This is our standing half series. We'll repeat that a few times. You can move forward to full sun salutations if you'd prefer. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back, straight legs. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, rising tall to mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, we'll sweep the arms up. Exhaling, swan diving, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. Then you can either continue with the standing version or go ahead and step back to downward facing dog or child's pose. We'll all drop our knees and walk our hands out to kneeling plank. Exhaling, we'll lower all the way down to the floor. Inhaling, peeling our chest, strong back, and then pressing up and back to active child's pose, curling the toes under, returning to downward facing dog. We'll walk our feet back towards our hands to forward fold. Bending the knees a lot, inhaling, rising tall to mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up. Exhaling, swan diving, forward fold. Continuing with the standing half series or coming to down dog or active child's pose. If you're feeling ready for a full plank, you can shift the shoulders over the wrists and then drop the knees for a little more challenge. Inhaling, lifting the chest, cobra. Exhaling, active child's pose. We'll curl the toes under, lifting up and back to downward facing dog. We'll step our feet towards our hands to forward fold. Inhaling, rising tall to mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. We'll bend the knees, keeping the weight in our heels, our chest lifted, our spine tall. As you take your next exhale, we're going to twist to the right, pressing our palms together, or taking our arms and opening them wide, one hand towards the floor, one towards the sky. Exhaling, we'll release to forward fold. Bending the knees a lot, inhaling, strong core, rising tall to mountain. Exhaling, returning to chair pose. You can choose how deep you bend the knees. We can keep this shallow if you prefer. And then we'll just take the twist to the other side, left elbow to the right thigh, pressing the palms together. If your feet are hip distance, then keep the knees separated unless they're naturally touching already. But we don't want the knees to cave into the center. As we take our next exhale, we'll release to forward fold. Bending the knees a lot, inhaling, rising tall to mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. And we're going to step wide on our mat, turning our right toes to the short edge of the mat, and then you can heel toe to change this, how wide your stance is. When you bend the right knee, check that the right knee is stacked over the ankle, arms come out to a T, shoulders relaxed, gazing over our right fingertips. We're going to drop the back arm and then sweep our right arm up and back to Warrior Two. So this is adding a side bend to our Warrior Two. You see me just look down. You want to check and make sure you can see your big toe. So once again, the knee isn't wanting to cave in. We're keeping that knee open. Returning to Warrior Two, we're then going to take our forearm to our thigh. You can either reach the top arm towards the sky or turn and bring the bicep near the ear. Think long line of energy from that back foot out through the fingertips. Continuing to breathe as we hold the pose. Now we're going to return to Warrior Two and then find triangle. Reaching past the toes, we'll windmill the arms to triangle pose. And let your hand fall where it may, keeping the spine nice and long. Just avoid applying any pressure to the knee by placing the hand above or below the knee. And we'll bend the knee, we'll come back tall, bringing our hands to heart center. Let's take this on the other side. So left toes point towards the short edge, lining our heel with our back arch, bending the left knee, shoulders back and down, gazing over our left fingertips. Dropping the back arm, adding our side bend, creating reverse warrior. Can we see our big toe? Yes. On your next exhale, we'll flow to side angle, forearm to thigh, top arm either reaching straight up or bring the bicep near the ear. It's about where that stretch feels best to you. We're going to return to warrior two. Straighten the knee. You can shorten your stance and come to triangle. You don't have to shorten your stance. That's something I tend to do every time I come back to triangle. So see how your hips feel when you're in these standing poses and know that you can make adjustments. Your feet aren't glued to the floor. This time I'm looking up. You can look straight ahead or in any direction where your neck feels comfortable. We're going to come back tall, bring our hands to heart center. We're going to take a wide-legged fold, bring our arms out to a T. We're going to swan dive, flat back here, core is engaged. We're hinging from our hips. And then once we have our hands to the floor, we can have some support. Go ahead and round and release the back. You can heel toe to come a little wider in your stretch. And then walking the hands behind you if you want to continue to take this stretch deeper. Deeper isn't better. Go where you feel good today. See if all your weight is in your heels. Shift your weight evenly through the foot. You may almost feel as if you're going to fall forward, so be careful with this. I'll start to leave our wide-legged fold, heel toeing our feet back together, bending the knees a lot. Inhaling, we'll rise tall to mountain. Exhaling, hands to heart center. We're going to play with our balance. If you want to move towards something you can hold on to, please do. Always be careful practicing your balance. We're going to shift our weight into our right leg. You want to keep that micro bend in your knee. Think of stacking your joints. If you're feeling steady here today, maybe bring the arms out to football posts, or you can bring your arms out wide, growing your branches, continuing to breathe. If you start to get wobbly, then come back to hands to heart center and find your balance before adding the arms. And then we'll go ahead and set up the other side, taking our time. There's no rush here. We can make our goalpost arms or reach. You can even draw palms together overhead. And we'll release. Bring our hands to heart center. We're going to step back to the top edge of our mat. Inhaling and sweeping the arms up through mountain one last time. Exhaling, we'll swan dive. We'll place our hands to the floor and step back to downward facing dog. You can hold here or go ahead and release to child's pose. Whichever pose you choose, bring your attention to your breath. If you're in down dog, go ahead and drop your knees and lower the hips back towards the heels. Notice if this child's pose feels different than the first one we took. We'll bring ourselves up seated, untuck our feet, bringing the legs out in front. Setting up for boat pose, we're going to hold onto the back of our thighs, find a tall spine, and then rock off the sit bones. Once you find your strong core, if you want to add more challenge, you can let go, lengthen the legs, roll the shoulder blades back and down. You can point the feet or flex. Keep breathing. And we'll lower the feet to the floor, drop our knees out to the side. Find a tall spine. If butterfly doesn't feel good today, take the legs out wide and straight and walk through the center. It is a different stretch, but that's something you can do easily from the same position. As you hold your stretch, imagine breathing into any tight space, and with every exhale, releasing tension, maybe going deeper. We'll come back tall. Draw our knees together. We'll hug the right knee in towards our chest. Take our left leg straight, foot flexed. Breathing in, finding our tall spine. Breathing out, we'll twist from the core, keeping our tall spine, only turning the head back if the neck feels good today. Continue to breathe as you hold your stretch. We'll go ahead and unwind. Draw the left knee in. Breathing in once again to find our tall spine. And twisting to the left. Then we'll unwind our twist. We'll scoot forward, making room to lower on our back. You can go slowly, adding a core challenge, or just finding your way any way that is possible. We'll meet with knees to chest. We'll take the legs up straight. Hands can be by our side or under our hips. If shoulder stand is a part of your practice, feel free to take that pose. But if you're going to stay here with me, we're going to flex and point our feet. I love how this feels for my shins and my calves. We'll circle the ankles in one direction. Feels so good for the ankles. We'll reverse, take our circles the other way. If you decide to take shoulder stand, feel free to drop into plow pose, or we can come to happy baby, holding onto the back of our thighs or holding onto our feet, gently rocking side to side. And we'll lower our feet to the floor. Shoulder blades down the back. We'll bring our right ankle in front of the left knee. You can pause here and just take a more passive version of figure four, or draw the left knee into the chest. Relax the neck and shoulders. If you're near furniture or a table, scoot yourself forward, and you can even let that left foot press against the furniture, and you may be able to hold the stretch a little better versus holding on with the back of your leg. Go ahead and take the other side. So kind of how my right foot looks like it's touching the plant in the background. If that was your table, you would be relaxing your leg into the furniture instead of having to hold and pull. We'll release, uncross, dropping the knees out to the side to butterfly, shoulder blades down the back. Breathing into this open pose. We'll draw the knees together. Stacking knees over hips, arms out to a T. We can drop the knees over to the left, looking up, or to the right. Then we'll look up, we'll bring our knees center, take them over to the other side, looking up or to the left. We'll look back towards the ceiling, unwind or twist. We'll drop our feet to the floor, and then you can come right into Shavasana, or you can add the block underneath the hips like we did in our last props class and add an extra psoas stretch. So completely up to you. You can stay with your knees bent. You can play with taking one leg straight at a time or trying both legs. Whatever position we choose, scan the body from head to toe. Notice if you're holding on to any tension. If you're on the block, we'll go ahead and bend both knees. Slowly lift our hips up and off of the block. Taking our time, we've been holding a deep stretch, so no need to make any quick movements. You can take a few windshield wipers, let go of any tension in the low back from that stretch. Really anything that feels good here. We'll go ahead and take our legs straight, reach our arms overhead, stretching out from head to toe. And we'll bend our knees, turn to one side, leaving our corpse pose, turning over to newborn baby. Fresh start for the rest of our day. We'll press ourselves up seated, finding a tall spine. And as you take your next inhale, we'll sweep our arms up towards the sky. Exhaling, bringing our hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know I really enjoyed today's practice. I felt great when I was done. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Saturday.